Hello there, dear viewer. Welcome to another episode of Talk, Share, and Inspire. If this is the first time you're coming across us for you're just stumbling upon this video, consider subscribing. Yes, for our online viewers, subscribe, like this video before it starts because it is going to be amazing, and of importance, it's going to be informative. For this specific episode, we will be discussing on whether it is possible to date without trifling with hearts. Let me explain. Dating is getting to know a person, People confuse dating and courting. You may probably be wondering, can I just know a few people without trifling with hearts? This is the type of conversation you should be listening to. And as we will be conversing and opinions and thoughts come to mind, kindly comment in the comment section. Tell us, communicate with us. We'll read those comments and we will respond. For those who are watching us on TV, kindly also talk to us via the WhatsApp number displayed on your screen. We will be more than glad to respond to your comments. I'm your host, Joy Muthoki. With me in studio today, I'm joined by guys who have been here previously. And I know you love them. That's why we brought them back. We usually listen to the feedback. So I'll let them introduce themselves and then we dive right into the discussion.
Hi everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here again. My name is Brenda Nyaega. Looking forward to an amazing discussion.
Okay.
Thank you, Joy. And hi everyone. My name is Clyde Mareri, a student at the University of Nairobi. I'm really stoked for today's discussion. And I hope that we draw something from it. Yeah.
Brenda,
Yeah.
Dating without trifling with hearts. Have you ever trifled? Has someone ever trifled with your heart?
Well,
Yes.
that's quite something.
Yeah,
Am I about to share self-incriminating words here?
No, this is a safe space. This is a safe
How
space. Feel free. Very safe. Very safe.
Well, trifling with hearts is something that you might take keen guard to ensure you don't do, but you end up doing it.
Yeah.
But it's very, very wrong if you do it intentionally to gratify your carnal self. I think as we go by, we'll better understand what is trifling with hearts.
Yeah.
Because really it is something wrong. But you can also end up doing it without quite taking keen note that you're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's not right either way. Yeah, it's not the right thing to do.
Wow. Clyde, you are the youngest on set today. Have you, in the few years you've been here, those of us who've been here for very many years, how does that look like for you? Have you trifled with someone's heart? Has someone trifled with your heart?
Okay. First of all, I think it's imperative to mention two things. One, my age is very relevant, and it's of course it's still a contributing factor to this discussion, right? Find the example of Job when his friends they come over and Eliphaz, the young Eliphaz, tries to address Job and he actually says something wise, right? Though he's young. Maybe we can define what trifling with hearts actually is, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just telling, maybe our audience might not have the knowledge of it.
True.
So I think maybe where you've picked it is from the book Adventist Home. And it speaks about it in the 8th chapter when she gives counsels for courting. In page 57, she says that trifling with hearts is a sin of no small magnitude in the sight of a holy God, right?
Yeah.
So what is trifling of hearts? She proceeds to describe it as, you give sentiments, or rather you say something to this lady, and you jump to this person, and then you jump to the next person, and you find yourself using similar words and similar connotations to this other person.
Yeah.
So, and we've already been told that it's a crime and it's a sin. So I think many of us have experienced it. Personally, I believe I have, right? With maybe I've trifled with someone's heart. So trifling, as an English word, it can mean as a noun it's a small thing. As an adjective rather, it means something small. So you say something quite trifle, But then on this other side, trifling can mean playing, right? Playing with something. So ndio sasa tunasema kucheza, unanichezea, cheza na roho ya watu. Yeah, so playing with someone's heart. So it does happen and we do encounter it many a times. I can say yes, I have encountered it. Yes.
And maybe to add to that, trifling with someone's heart is to give them affections and an impression that you are interested in giving your heart to them, yet in real sense that is not your intention. You're not willing to offer out your hand or your heart to them. You just want to have a good time with them, enjoy their company, but not make it solid.
Is it possible for a lady to trifle with people's hearts?
Yeah,
How?
absolutely. It's so easy for a lady to trifle with a gentleman's heart, though this is though in most circles you'd find that it's the gentlemen who are admonished not to trifle with a lady's heart. So a lady would trifle with a man's heart if they constantly keep around them, share with them positive words, and in fact they'd even go to an extent of affirming that they actually love them, but they don't love them enough to end up with them for dating and even courtship and ultimately marriage. They just want to have a good time with them. And I think I must also mention it at this point that our hearts are carnal. And love is something that the Lord put within each of us, but sometimes not sometimes, in fact, we are admonished not to awaken young love. So then, much as you desire to be loved and to love, do not go prompting someone's love when you do not want to ultimately cause it to end up in dating, courtship, and then marriage.
Can you kindly explain what awakening love looks like? Because Clyde and Brenda are friends, and I remember there was a joke that was said outside, "Why are you hanging around me?" Do you want us to get into another situation, into a situationship or something that it gets back to a conversation that we had a while back on situationships. I don't know that you guys remember it. Like, where is this line to ensure you don't trifle with hearts? And two questions.
A good friend.
To not trifle with hearts, but you also want to know, okay, is this person dateable / quotable? I feel like that's especially for men. And for the ladies, where is the line where this guy, he's sending signals, smoke signals, left, right, and center, but genuinely, there's nowhere we're going with this person. Where is that line? Line? Yeah.
So I think first it's important to have friends, and we all make friends in daily life, and we cannot avoid making friends of the opposite gender because we fear that they'd be under an impression that we love them. That's not excuse enough to put away platonic relationships with people of the opposite gender. So then, even as we do this, maybe first to respond to your question, how is it manifested? So a lady will constantly keep the company of the young man, talk to them nicely, perform acts of service, and importantly, they do this to them exclusively. Perhaps they don't get to do all this to the other people, they only do it to them, and that can quite awaken their love. I mean, it's so easy to awaken someone's love. You just got to do a few of those things and you appeal to their tenderness. And lo and behold, they love you, and you don't love them back, and that's quite unfortunate. And maybe to add to it, even as ladies do this, or even gentlemen do this, perhaps their intention is just pure. Theirs was not to trifle with the young man's heart. Theirs was to just, we want to be friends. But it ended up that way. And therefore, it's also important that there is communication. That, hey Clyde, so in this phase, we are, so say for someone who's dating, who's looking to date, so I'd agree, that's a bit off, but Clyde would agree with myself that at this moment, Brenda, we were friends, but I'd like that we move into a step further and date, so that we see whether we are suitable for marriage. And so therefore I will move to that next phase knowing that we are dating and we are all trying to analyze whether we are fit for marriage. Yeah, so that I will not, Clyde wouldn't move to the dating phase while I do not know, and then he comes to a conclusion that I'm not fit and drops off, and I don't notice what happened. We suddenly went up and he came down, and I wasn't able to understand how it all went down. Yeah, so I think also communication is very, very important, so that no one is moving at a faster pace than the other. Yeah.
Wow. I'll get back to you, Clyde. There's something she was talking about communication, and then where is the line between dating and courting? Because I feel like we are mixing these two terms. Because courting, you're now like, okay, yeah, we're gonna get married, bruh. Yeah, this is actually serious. Dating, is it different? And when you're saying I'm getting to know you before we become something serious, would that lead to a situationship?
Firstly, I pray that we do not mix in between the trifling with hearts and a situationship. Remember that exclusively trifling with hearts is a sin, right? And this sin, as is described, is you've already shown affection to one lady.
Yeah.
You're moving to the next and showing similar affection. It is a sin.
Yeah.
It is wrong. It is condemned by the Bible. Sin is rebellion, right? It is not a mistake. So when someone says that, or when someone implies that, if I tell you this, then I go and tell another lady a similar thing, or I tell her, I also have affections for you. It's not like it's a mistake or my emotions, I'm not sure about them. It means that you're no longer consistent with that first lady. You are trying to make a covenant. It's like trying to make a covenant with God, and yet you're still sticking with your with sins, right?
Yeah.
Or for example, you're saying, hey, I want to become a vegetarian. I want to dispose of meat, right? But still you go and give affection to this meat, right? You still go and you want to, wewe ndo unachukua nyama. You're always engaging with this meat, right? Basically it means that you will still end up back where you are, right? You will still fall. So that is what God is trying to call us from. And looking at things concerning dating and courtship, maybe I'd say that dating itself, I usually see them as interchangeable, or words that are somehow congruent. Because mostly, people usually say, I'm just dating, this is not courtship, so it's not going to lead on to marriage. But the fundamental question should be, why are you dating? What's the purpose of you wanting to be in a romantic engagement with this person? If it's not for marriage, then you'd rather just dispense it, right? Because you will end up trifling with hearts. Because you'll tell this girl, you're close to this girl, then you're saying, we're just dating, so I can just not date her, then I go and date another girl. Remember, you've already confessed affection to her and given her attention. So you'll still go and sin with the other person. So what most of us should understand, and even though I might not have an exact definition for these two terms, I'd say we should look at dating and courtship as one thing, such that when we move from our friendship and you want to date this person, we know that this should be prospectively marriage, right? This should prospectively be marriage, so that I as a man, I'm not placed in a position that I can say, this is just dating, it's not anything serious, it's just having fun. So all of us, our relationships and things concerning love, they need to be taken seriously. Most of us have lost sight of what is love and what is infatuation, right? And the test of love is time. So if someone can, if the time that you're taking within this relationship, if you feel like your feelings are not, you are just pushed by impulse, right? You're just pushed by, there's some differences that Ellen White gives for love and infatuation, right? That you find infatuation is hot-headed, is that it is attracted by externals, right? And at the time of a crucial point of making a decision, this person will not choose you because they don't actually love you. They just have that desire, they just have that the lust. So infatuation becomes lust. So trifling with hearts is a very serious sin. Most of us as young people, we need to be very careful, even as we engage with one another, right? Such that when you share affections with one lady and you tell her, I really like you, let it be a sincere feeling before you go and tell another person, I also really like you. And it brings all that chaos.
And maybe to add to that, because he has really underscored the fact that trifling with hearts is a sin.
Yeah.
And actually it is a sin because it's the sin of deception. You make one believe that you love them when actually you do not love them. Yeah. Additionally, the art of trifling with hearts is prompted by very base passions, where you just want to seek admiration of many people, but you do not actually want to settle with either of them. And so that is you submitting to your youthful lusts, and using what the Lord has put in us for good for evil.
And
It's
also,
very unfair.
also, in talking about that, people find it so love is such a wonderful thing, and it's a mystery in and of itself. I think it's in Corinthians 13 that it says that even if I give food to the poor, even if I give my body to be burnt, yet I do not have love. So you can actually do all these good things. You can actually show this lady that you can also do good things to this lady, but that does not prove necessarily that you love them, right? So love as a principle rather than a feeling is quite difficult to understand. But as young people, we need to ask God, to give us the understanding of what He desires for us to have in our relationships.
Wow. What is there something we can borrow from the previous generation, like from the, I don't want to call the millennials the previous generation, because they're not yet previous really, they're like previous-ish, not previous fully, but the millennials and like our folks. And, is there something we can learn from their generation? What did they do during their time that sort of prevented trifling with hearts?
Trifling with hearts might have occurred during their time as well. That's why, in fact, we have inspiration talking about this, meaning it quite happened. But maybe a few pointers that we can carry from them is the fact that, while theirs was very strict that you don't associate with boys, hey ladies, come, let's keep with women. Gentlemen, just go do work with your dads, so that men keep the company of men, women keep the company of women. And when it's the right time, men and women can keep company towards marriage. So then equally, our present generation, what can we borrow? Do not quite keep the company of a man when, especially in exclusion. You can keep their company, but in public, so that I do not hang out with one person so often and end up trifling with their heart, knowingly or unknowingly.
Wow. I also think most of the engagements we've had, we can look at the greatest example we have of actual love and actual faithfulness, because actual trifling of hearts goes on to a question of faithfulness. How faithful are you to this person that you will not move to the next? We have the examples in Scripture. That's why the Bible is, of course, the greatest source of all knowledge, right? And all inspiration, profitable in doctrine, teaching, inspiration, and correction. So you have the example of Hosea. He marries a prostitute, Gomer, right? And in all these instances, Hosea had the opportunity, of leaving this relationship and all that, even though the wife was always moving to the next relationship and that. And Hosea still stuck to that same relationship. It was supposed to be a reflection of God's love for the Israelites. A similar example is given in Ephesians 5 of the husband and the wife compared to Christ and the church, right? That Christ always sticks with the church and always sticks with these people. I'd like to look at an example of, the children of Israel. From the time God gives a promise to Abraham all the way, to Christ, right? He has always stuck with the Israelites throughout and throughout. And, there's that expecting of, you should, why does God still stay with us? It's because at the fundamental point of it all, it's the principle of love, right? So even us, as we look at this issue, even as Brenda has mentioned it, our parents as well, there still was that issue of infatuation and the issue of trifling with hearts, because generally, and especially right now, it's becoming predominant because we are in a society where we are mingled, right? I leave home, I go to campus, I find girls, right? I leave home, I go even in high schools, even in functions and such kind of stuff. Cognitive of the fact that we are living in an immoral world, right? So we are already placed in that blend, and God still requires of us to be faithful to our cause. Therefore, I'd advise specifically young men and also the young ladies who might have gotten to such a point of maybe trifling with hearts. Be careful with how you confess your emotions to one another. Be careful with how you express yourself. Because if you express a certain emotion to a lady and go forth and express it to another, it shows, one, it might mean that you did not mean it to the first lady, and so you are just deceiving them, right? Or even to this second lady, which is still the same thing. So we should be careful. You know, this tongue, it's quite deceptive, right? The tongue is very deceptive, and the heart itself is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? So be careful with what you say, be careful with what you have within you. Just walk within the line that God desires us to walk. If you have an affection for this lady and you actually feel it's true love, then you'll be faithful.
What happens when you had genuinely confessed your love for girl Table? She is amazing, you know. But then down the road, you're like, it's not giving. But then, as you're seated to, as you're still at the crossroad of thinking whether you should talk to Table, there's this other lady, Glass. She comes into the picture. You're like, oh my gosh, God, this is my rib. I have found her. God, thank you. I have found the one I was looking for. So, how do you call things off with Table, and you don't make her feel like she's the problem, you know, worthless, you know, you'll never say about you should try being like Paul, you know, start straight the word of God.
Sure.
How do you strike that balance? Because if you move on quickly and you're with Glass, Table is justified to say, yeah, Clyde is a gambut. Why did he do that? You know, why did he do that to me? Yeah, so how do you move around that for the guys and for the ladies? It's also the same. Yeah, you had given guy Bulb a chance, but then he's not giving, and then you realize, okay, I should probably be with camera. So how do you move about that situation without really hurting the other person's feelings?
Well, if you had already confessed your feelings towards them, it's only prudent that you again call them back and tell them, I hoped this would have worked out, but it has not. And importantly, everyone loves to have themselves dignified. No one wants to leave a place feeling like they are very worthless. You might end up spoiling the future of that gentleman. So what is important, even as you called, in fact, maybe we should have a session on how to break up with people. But briefly put, just invite them. Let them feel confident about themselves. Let them feel dignified, and you don't just drop a text. I mean, that's not how you came together. No, call them back, have a sit down, appreciate all the good that they were while it lasted. Before you proceed on to someone else. And please also be keen enough to make sure that you're not just hopping from person A to person B just because you've noted a few flaws in person A. That you'd end up hopping from person to person. We all have flaws.
Okay.
I think there's a certain statement I was looking for here from a certain book, Selected Messages. I'll just read the first line that she says, holiness of heart will never lead to impure actions. When one who claims to be teaching the truth is inclined to be much in the company of young or even married women, when he familiarly lays his hand upon their person, or is often found conversing with them in a familiar manner, be afraid of him. The principles of truth are not inwrought in his soul. Such are not workers with Jesus, they are not in Christ, and Christ is not abiding in them. They need a thorough conversion before God can accept their labors. So even for our young men, before I address the question on the breakup, like our engagements with one another, right? It needs to be very judicious, and it needs to be very scrutinized. We need to be very careful. Holiness of heart will never lead to impure action, right? So even as we intertwine with these relationships and with the ladies and stuff, we actually come to the realization that even if I'm dating her, it should not lead to an impure action, right? We need to be very careful on that. Also on the issue of breaking up, if you realize your love for this person, your feelings for this person, which now that you see, because if you are married to if you like this person and confess to them, then now you turn an eye to this other person, it means that the first one was not true love, right? Because love endures everything, and love never ends. It means that the first one was most likely to have been infatuation. Most likely, because the speed at which you've transitioned to this other person is also questionable. Perhaps even this other person, you don't know whether it's love or infatuation, so you just give it time. But the fact that this one has just ended so abruptly and you've jumped to the other person, it raises a lot of eyebrows and questions concerning whether it was true love. So you have to take up that responsibility and go and tell this person that things didn't work out as I had expected them to work out.
Yeah.
I just request that we end things at this point. And if this person is actually reasonable, they will understand that you made a wrong decision. And even them, they will see that, okay, fine, maybe things are not meant to go as they do. But one thing is, we always have to bear the consequences of our decisions. That's why I'm saying, if you want to confess feelings, be very careful before you do that, right?
Yeah.
Because feelings, once they're confessed, they're implanted in one's heart.
Absolutely.
And so to uproot them is another pain.
Yeah.
So you need to be very cautious with how you tell someone, especially if you're breaking up with a lady. It would be, for a man, you break up with a man, it will be, I think it doesn't resonate so badly with them, because maybe they keep their emotions to themselves.
Is it because you guys don't take care of your emotions? Could it be the ones who are hurting more?
It could be.
Could it be?
It could be.
Yeah,
Actually,
comment on that as you give us your parting shot in a few seconds.
It could be that men keep so much, right? We stonewall our hearts very much, such that we do not even actually feel the effects of being heartbroken. But the heart is still broken, right? Even in some engagements, you find when a man breaks up with a lady, he's the one that actually feels more pain, right? He's the one that actually feels more pain. But he does not exhibit it. So at this point, the issue is, at the center of all this is this sin, right? And sin, of course, will bring pain, will bring sadness, but a continuation of that sin will bring death, right?
Wow.
At the ultimate end, it will be death, right? If you continue with this lady, even though you're infatuated, you say, I don't want to break your heart.
Yeah.
You proceed, you get married. Will you break that marriage? Because you forfeited to break the initial engagement, because you failed to tell them about your feelings. So I'd tell us let's be careful, even as we engage with one another. Let's be careful how we confess our emotions. Take your time. Your time. Don't be quick to tell someone you love them.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, Brenda, parting shot.
So my parting shot will be, trifling with hearts is a sin.
Yeah.
And it affects the person whose heart is trifled with and the one who's trifling. Because the one who trifles plays around with his or her own feelings as well. And when the time to love comes, they have no love to offer. After all, they've played around with all that they had. They can't appreciate consistency. You can't love one person at a time. You have to love thousands of people. And that is not right. So take care of your heart now when you have time.
Wow, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for coming on studio today. Dear viewer, go do further research on this whole topic. We have not exhausted everything. We needed more time, but this is just some spice. Go take your notebook, pause, go back, watch the whole video again, watch other videos that will help you understand this whole topic. And see you on the next episode, where we talk, share, inspire, and also hope to get inspired. Bye bye.